visit a little bit in the spirit of tonight. It's called Heaven. Heaven was only half as far that night at the poetry recital. Listening to the burnt phrases when I heard the poet have a rhyming erection, then look away with a lost look. Every animal, he said at last, after intercourse is sad, but the back row lovers looked oblivious and glad. I had just ordered a fish plate at the counter when three very beautiful fucked up people entered. I don't know why, how, or why I thought they must be fucked up, except that they were very beautiful. Two men and one very beautiful golden-haired young woman, very well groomed and wearing sports clothes, like as if they had just gotten out of an old-fashioned Stutz Roadster with top down and tennis rackets, and the woman strode to the back of the restaurant, found a vacant table, and strode back and got the other two beckoning with an elegant gesture and smiling slightly at them. And the three of them walked back to the table as if they were not afraid of anything or anyone in that place, took possession of it with lovely expressions. The very lovely young lady settled herself so easily on the settee beside the younger of the two men, both of whom had light brown, wavy hair, not too long and cut like Hollywood tennis stars, or anyway like visitors from some other town more elegant than our own. And they were obviously so much better looking and so much better brought up than anyone else in the place. They looked like they might be related to the Kennedys. And they obviously had no Indian or Italian blood in them, and she obviously was so many avenues open to her with her two men, one of whom might have been her brother. I could not imagine her carrying a carbine, and she kept tossing her hair ever so gently out of her eyes, and smiling at both of them, and at nothing in particular that I could imagine, and her lips were moving gently with her gentle smile, and I kept trying to imagine what she could possibly be saying with those perfect lips over those perfect teeth so white, with her eyes now and then sliding over and down the counter where a lot of little people sat, quietly eating their quite ordinary lunches, while the three beautiful people who could have just been anywhere seemed just about to order something special and eat it with ice cream and cigarettes. And my fish finally arrived, looking not quite unfrozen and quite plastic, but I decided to eat it anyway. She was a beautiful creature, and I felt like Charlie Chaplin eating his shoe. When her eyes slid over me, the modern jazz quartet came over the Muzak speakers, and under other circumstances, in a time of revolution, for instance, we might have made it.
Hey, all right.
Here's one for all the dog walkers in the world. The dog trucks freely in the street and sees reality, and the things he sees are bigger than themselves, and the things he sees are his reality. Drunks in doorways, moons on trees. The dog trucks freely through the street, and the things he sees are smaller than himself. Fish on newsprint, ants in holes, chickens in Chinatown windows, their heads a block away. The dog trots freely in the street, and the things he smells something like himself. The dog trots freely in the street, past puddles and babies, cats and cigars, pool rooms and policemen. He doesn't hate cops, he merely has no use for them. And he goes past them and past the dead cows hung up whole in front of the San Francisco meat market. He would rather eat a tender cow than a tough policeman, though either might do. And as he goes past the Romeo Ravioli Factory, and past Coit's Tower, and past Congressman Doyle of the Un-American Committee, he's afraid of Coit's Tower, but he's not afraid of Congressman Doyle, although things he hears are very discouraging and depressing, very absurd to a sad young dog like himself, to a serious dog like himself. But he has his own free world to live in, his own fleas to eat. He will not be muzzled. Congressman Doyle is just another fire hydrant to him. The dog trots freely in the street, in his own dog's life to live, and to think about, and to reflect upon, touching and tasting and testing everything, investigating everything without benefit of perjury, a real realist with a real tale to tell, and a real tale to tell it with. A real live, barking, democratic dog, engaged in real free enterprise, with something to say about ontology, something to say about reality, and how to see it, and how to hear it, with his head cocked sideways at street corners, as if he's just about to have his picture taken for Victor Records, listening for his master's voice, and looking like a living question mark into the great gramophone of puzzling existence, with its wondrous hollow horn, which always seems just about to spout forth some victorious answer to everything.
Yeah!